Hello everyone, so I wanted to make an update. I haven't done too much new stuff, but there is definitely some things to go over. Well, first of all, this room is absolute mess. Like, there is shit everywhere. There is also literal shit everywhere because this cat is leaking shit. Best thing about that is that it's not even my cat. But anyway, well, basically all this floor is ruined already. But anyway, let's talk about the stove first of all. Now this is temporary installation because this whole room is temporary, but anyway, I am living here right now, so I have it here because I have a chimney here as well, so why not use it? The stove is 15 kilowatt unit and has a heat exchanger with like 10 or 12 kilowatts, and I'm not very happy with it because there are a few things. First of all, look at this door. The glass is stained with carbon. Second of all, because the black stuff you see is the heat exchanger itself, so it is covering like 80% of surfaces here. So only thing that can get hot is like these bricks and the coals itself. Otherwise, it is below 100 degrees Celsius. So I have questions about burning efficiency because I imagine it is not that high, evidenced by the window itself. So basically I have to clean it every day, which is a pain in the ass. Other than that, the ashtray is quite small. These controls are hot as fuck because, well, they are solid brass, probably nickel plated. These as well, and this as well. So when this is running at quite high power, you cannot touch these things, but that's a relatively minor thing, I guess. I had to do some things. For example, this is reduction from 150 millimeters to 120 or something like that, because that is the only way I could fit into the hole, into the wall in the hole in the wall. Anyway, and I had very big problems getting these reductions because I think these are illegal. But who knows? Well, and what can you do? You can see that I am running at quite low pressure. The maximum pressure of this heat exchanger is 2 bars, so I'm happy with this. And the temperature I like to run at 60 to 70 degrees Celsius. Right now I don't have any wood there, so it is falling slowly. And this tank is 2 liters. It's a spare part for some natural gas burning unit. I chose it because it basically fits into this space, because I wanted these components to be behind the stove itself. Not sure about pump because it is quiet, but it is still a little bit loud. Like, if you walk over the stove, you don't really see these components. And the stove itself has to have some distance between the walls, so I can basically fit this right there. Installing this was quite a fun because, well, first of all, I called the manufacturer and asked him hey, do I need to have a heat exchanger connected to anything when I want to operate this thing? And he said, yep, the heat exchanger must be always connected to something. Well, that's not great. So to satisfy the requirement of having a heat exchanger connected to something, I first did this branch and connected it to a radiator, which is in the kitchen. The radiator can dissipate 2 kilowatts, so I was like, okay, well, the exchanger can capture 10 kilowatts, so what to do with the rest of the energy? Well, that wasn't that easy. I mean, I think the maximum temperature I saw was like 90 degrees and I was shitting my pants already. And that was after modification. So what I have done basically, I got these vermiculite boards and I lined quite a bit of the heat exchanger itself, so it was insulated from the heat. So basically what I have done was change the ratio of how much energy is absorbed by the exchanger and how much is radiated away normally. So that way I was able to operate this at much lower power, and that allowed me to use this stove right away. Because when I finally installed it here, I already had to use electric heaters for 1 week because it was so cold. Now if this stove was to stay here, I would change a few things. Well, first of all, I would make a flange connection here and here. And that is solely because I would need to clean this chimney from this place. Because this place is the only place where I can access it. So that's not great. Possibly also illegal, but anyway. Speaking about mess, we are in the kitchen and I had to set up a temporary lab here because there is no other place where I could do it. And not freeze to death at least. But anyway, so yeah, this is the radiator I was speaking about. So this is the connection of the radiator, and it is connected with polyurethane tubes because, as I said, the placement of the stove is temporary, so it is going basically through a wall to the next room and then there. Now the kitchen itself, I think the window was not here when I was filming last time, so this was fairly uneventful installing it here. I think this one is also clean, this one not yet because I did not have time to do it. Back then I was thinking of lowering the ceiling because the ceiling itself was atrocious, but I quickly realized that wouldn't work because the window is too high basically. So instead I did repair the ceiling itself, and I found that it wasn't that hard to do. I mean, it was time consuming, but I think that it was made by a guy that knows what he's doing, because these lines were perfectly straight when I did repair them. But if you look here, this is the original. I mean, look at the quality here. This is absolutely horrible. This is absolutely bad. Anyway, in person you would probably see where I started and where I learned better techniques, and same goes for the other walls, but yeah, on camera I don't think you would be able to see anything here. In previous video I touched on the kitchen line itself, and this is made from steel frame, which I have welded with TIG welder. There are some components waiting to be finished by a local woodworker because, well, my saw is currently disassembled and I don't have flat space to put it in. When I started to work on the kitchen line, I only knew that I want to stove here and dishwasher there, and I basically know what dishwasher there will be, and I picked some, what is this, sink. Not very happy with the sink itself either, but anyway. So I had to construct it such that this will save some space and won't interfere, and I'm basically, the height of the dishwasher is fairly standard. Because of this I was left with quite small amount of space on the bottom, and this is not great because sometimes I come here and I kick into the frame itself. So. And other than that, these spaces will be filled with wood. Not sure about this one, I will have to think about that, what will look nice and work well. But let me tell you, I was absolutely ecstatic when I finally had sink, because before I had to wash everything in this sink, which is not very great. Also, you may have noticed this contraption. I did not talk about this in any video, but long story short, I like to drink sodas, and so this is a soda making machine. Originally I did not have this stuff. This is some automation to make filling, cleaning and mixing easier for me, because back then I had to disconnect all the lines, drag it to the shower, and there I basically clean it manually and fill it. This is 19 liters, so it was fairly heavy, and I had to like basically it was time consuming, it was not great. So it's a little bit, also a little bit ridiculous. I spent quite a lot of money on these stainless steel solenoid valves, and then I used these pumps from China that are probably not food safe anyway. So, it is what it is. Well, I tried, I guess. Oh yeah, I forgot. I got a vinyl flooring. This is a wood laminate, and well, I am quite happy with this flooring mainly because I have decided to not get flooring with these gaps, but these are instead flush. So that was great decision, definitely. And also this is kitchen, so there and with stuff like this you can expect like large puddles of water here, because yeah, stuff happens here. Well, so this is a heat exchanger for the boiler, because I was like, okay, I have this stove with like fucking insane power output, and so where I cannot use all the power, I want to dump it somewhere. So I installed a heat exchanger here, and it is great. It is absolutely great. It is basically handling all hot water by itself, so I am not using electricity at all to heat water right now. So this pump is for recirculating hot water. This is right now controlled by this like this device. Then this pump moves the water from the hot side through heat exchanger to the cold side. I wanted this to be other way around, but I have decided to do it this way. Well, not decided, I basically mounted it like this, and then I realized that I wanted to do it other way around, but left it that way. The water in the boiler is mixed anyway. Originally, I had this pump plugged into the socket, and I had to manually control this thing, which is like speed of the pump. So when I had a lot of fire in the stove, I came here and like tune it to like maximum temperature or maximum flow. It starts flowing, it starts cooling the hot water and heating the cold water here. So that worked, but I was like, okay, well, this is not great that I have to do it manually. So I've made a device like this, and this is Arduino based. I found a cover for 2-unit module like this thing, and I made a PCB for it, kinda sorta. It is quite wild PCB setup, but yeah. It is basically one controlled output and 3 inputs. You can see the readings here. If I knew that I would be doing this, I would probably remove this unit and buy one that is like 4-unit wide and make a kinda sorta more PLC-ish box that I can control bunch of things here with bunch of inputs and bunch of outputs. One sensor is here, other sensor is inside the boiler. I had to Dremel out a square hole. These are NTC sensors, by the way. I was experimenting with other placements. For example, this hole is where you fill the foam in, and that was not great because this is on the bottom of the boiler. It's basically the reading from this place is most sensible for me. And the other sensor is here, and this is going to the shower. And you could see the reading here, shower. The point is that when I am showering, I want this pump to stop because I don't want it to mix cold water with hot water that is already here. Alright, so here you can see the pipes for heating. The polyurethane goes up to here, then it transitions to polypropylene, which is insulated like a little bit. Then this is the installation for the main water pipes. It is a little bit overkill, I guess, but I'm happy with that. Then these pipes with the installation go through a wall which neatly aligned with a board, which is pretty nice, and then it goes like this down. Now I can show you my wood pile, because I had to do some stuff to get wood inside here. And the idea is that the car will come in here, and there is pretty much nothing apart from this wooden beam. So the car can go all the way back here and just drop the material from its, like, what is it called? From its rear end, anyway. And so yeah, we did that, it worked. Just as I said, this wooden beam, this one, I had to move it, well, first I move it forward, it came, dumped the load here, then I move it backward, and then he dumped load there. I mean, on one hand you can say that this is pretty lucky situation, but the thing is that the door is blocked by the wood when I'm done, basically, so I had to burn wood for like 1 month to unblock the door so I could walk through here. And originally I wanted to remove this old wood pile, and the idea would be that the car would go through the gate and then he starts turning around this beam, which he can probably turn here pretty well, and the idea is that he would dump the load here. However, then the issue is that there is this beam, so I'm not sure how it would work out. The best way probably is to try it, and yeah. So my goal would basically be to have wood aligned in this direction, so that I can have some space for the saw in this area. This would be free to like walk. In any case, I have used about 40% of the wood so far. The coldest month is just ahead of us, so I think this is pretty much enough for me. It cost me about, yeah, 500 or 600 bucks. It cost me this thing, and that is for whole year basically. I can also show you because it's the next day and I woke up like 5 hours ago, so it's running for like 4 hours, pretty much at full power. So the stat looks like this. So this is how the numbers look like now. I've used hot water just sparingly for cleaning some stuff. Anyway, I will cut this video out here because it's probably way too long. So see you sometimes next year.